Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and it is day 11 of our Scrappy Advent Calendar. No cut file today because I just couldn't get the prompt to work, which was wreath. I mean, I could have cut a wreath out, but I didn't, so I'm doing this instead. Now, I am making a layout here with lots of photos. So, how many photos do I have in this layout? I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's 9. I think there's 9 photos. And so I was trying to work out a way that I could get it to work without being too bulky. And then, as I've been watching a fair amount of December daily content, I saw Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life share the flip through of her 2021 album, and she did this. So this is 100% a scrap lift from Christy. I will link her channel in the description box. I'll try to link the exact video where you can see this. I don't think she filmed a process video, but in her flip through you can see, and she actually talks a lot about what she created. And so she created 3 pockets. It's an absolute scrap lift of her, like it's identical. She created 3 pockets on a 6x8 page, or this is outside of the page protector page, so it's slightly bigger than 6x8. And then she tucked photos into those pockets, and I was like, that is an amazing idea. I am doing that. And when I saw how many photos Jess had for her story number 4, which was all of her boys and my boy, but these are mainly photos of her boy, going to see Santa. And there were, like, as I said, there was 9 photos to include, and I was trying to work out a way to do it that let me include them all, but not have too much bulk. And she's actually got 3 stories all about meeting Santa, so there's so many photos about this. And so the first one was more about the kind of Santa is in these photos, but the story is actually about the lead up to actually getting the Santa photo, because we were in sort of Santa's area, and like there's reindeer and there's fake snow, and they try to make the kids feel really relaxed before they see Santa, and then they get their photo taken. And so all of our boys had promised no tears this year. That happened for Jess's boys, not so much for mine, but that's okay. This year, spoiler alert, there were no tears for 2022, so that's exciting. But for 2021, there were still tears. So basically I've cut out 3 pieces of pattern paper, and I've cut them on an angle so that the pocket ends up on an angle. And I just free cut this, like there's no measurements. I just estimated and went from there. And then I used both tape runner and wet glue to stick down the edges to make the pocket, because I really don't want it to come up. Probably didn't need to use both. That seems a little excessive, but I think wet glue would have been the way to go, because I would have been a bit worried that with all the turning of the page, that the ATG might have come up over time. So that's what we're doing. And now I am sticking my photos back to back. And then I wanted it so that there were 2 photos per pocket, because there was 9 photos. That wasn't going to work, and so I pulled out some 3x4 cards. Jess used a collection in her 2020 December daily. It was a Simple Stories collection. It was one of the Say Cheese ones, I'm pretty sure, like with the Mickey Mouse or the Disney type theme. And she had a couple of papers left. One of those was a cut apart sheet. And so I cut apart some of the things that I thought would work for this. So I've got a 3x4 card that says Merry and Bright, one that says Jolly, Believe, Jingle Joy, Ho Ho Ho, Merry, Noel, Cheer, Peace, Christmas Magic, and then one that's just a Christmas tree. And so I used those as well. And then I backed some photos, obviously, like back to back, and then others went on the back of a 3x4 card. And then I just tucked them into the pocket. That's it. And then I did a little bit of embellishing down the bottom, which you'll see soon. But that's honestly all this layout is. Obviously, it took a little bit of time because it's slightly fiddly, but very effective. And I know for Christy, she used it with a photo on one side and journaling on the other to document like a heap of like smaller things that happened throughout the month of December that she still wanted to include but didn't want to use a whole spread for. So that's definitely obviously another option that you could do, but I just loved that it allowed you to include so many photos. And it is pretty flat, I have to say. It is pretty flat. So I hope Jess likes this one, because this is one of my favourite spreads that I've done so far. So I'm still sticking my photos together, and I just have to trim the excess. You know, cutting photos is not an exact science, and so they probably weren't super square to start off with, and then when you stick them back to front, you sort of, there's bound to be overhang, so I just trim the excess rather than getting too worried about it being perfect. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here, just lining things up, sticking it down, and then trimming off any that might need trimming. Almost guaranteed there will be some trimming required. And then, as I said, I am going to embellish the sort of bottom left corner of this layout. Now, this is, as I said, story number 4, so I will leave space for the number. I think I've said this in another video, I don't put the number on in the video because I wasn't 100% sure where in the album this would fall, and I didn't want to mess it up on camera. So you'll see the number in my photos, but not in my actual video. Okay, so I'm just sort of working out what I might want to do in that bottom corner. I knew I wanted to include a Santa of some description, but I think I'd used a couple somewhere else. Or anyway, whatever I was trying to use from the die cut pack wasn't really working. I thought about the reindeer. That Santa just didn't really do it for me in the end, so I ended up taking him off. But I did think about using him. He stays there for a while. Pulled out a few other bits. I wanted to use the ho ho ho, and there's another little piece that says hey Santa. If I haven't found that yet, I will soon. And then I thought that little tag might look cute there, so I pulled that out, and that's when I'm like, yeah, this other Santa's not really doing it for me. And then I realized there was a Santa on the puffy stickers, and that was a super cute Santa, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to put that one on. So I do, I'm committing, I'm sticking it down. And then I want to add a couple of little word phrases. So I've got the ho ho ho, and I know that there's another one that says hey Santa, so I'm going to pull that out as well. So I'm going to add both of those, but pop them up on a little bit of foam. And then I'm going to add some enamel dots, and I think that's about it. I do have my journaling, of course, or Jess's journaling. I have to stop saying my journaling, it's not my journaling, but Jess's journaling I add. So I'm just going to fit the journaling strips in, and then, sorry, I got interrupted mid-sentence by my phone ringing. It was my partner and my son, they're on their way home, so I have to quickly wrap up this voiceover before they get home. But luckily I've nearly finished, so I am going to add some little enamel dots, as you can see, and then I'm going to add the journaling down the bottom, and then we're done. So I do add quite a few close-ups to the end of this in case you want to see the photos. They're not super exciting because they're sort of from far away of the kids in kind of Santa's Wonderland, looking at everything, but they're there anyway if you want to have a look at them. All I'm doing is, I'm trimming out my journaling so it will fit in that spot. It just says, the boys were very excited and very eager to see Santa this year. They promised me no tears. The fake snow and reindeer were a massive hit. So I had thought I might, and I've still got time because I haven't wrapped these yet for Jessica. It's still mid-November when I'm doing this voiceover. I thought I might go back and on a couple of these photos add some of the Let It Snow stickers that are in the collection, because otherwise I'm never going to use them because it doesn't snow here. It doesn't snow here at all, but specifically not at Christmas time. So here we go. Here are the close-ups coming at you now. As I said, I've got a few different ones so you can see the photos, and you can also see the layout both with the photos tucked into the pockets and without. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we will see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks, guys. Bye.